So I deal with a lot of kids who have a lot of organizational and executive functioning issues, and like they're packing up their backpack, their desk underneath, and it's a disaster. And do you have any advice for strategies to help them in like
how much time do we have? So we can speak after. I'm happy to recommend resources, or if the group is going to give me a nod, like I could just like throw out some names, so I'll share those. My one kind of like umbrella response to this is going to be, it cannot be, imagine if you had a test. This child has organizational strategies. Imagining if I have a test in July and then me organizing that thought in October is not tangible. Right? And so we want to be doing these things. Whatever he needs to organize in July, maybe it's a camp backpack. We want to make the situation like real life so he can like latch onto it. And that's not always ideal because we don't always have a test, or sometimes we're too young for something like an exam or whatever the case may be. So that's just kind of like the umbrella answer, which I know isn't hugely valuable, but hopefully I can send everybody away with a nugget. And then I really like the series Smart But Scattered. And then Lynn Metzer, Melter, has a great book, and it's called Promoting Executive Function in the Classroom. And I've recommended this to parents as well. And I also like Jack Naglieri's book. It's a little bit costly, but you can get it on Amazon. And that's because there's like a CD, like an old school CD-ROM in the back, but there's all sorts of handouts in it. And they're, you know, like the meat of the book is good in its own right, it's valuable in its own right, but I love these handouts because when I am feeling tired on a Wednesday night and I have a big presentation tomorrow and I have two little girls hammering me about something and I need to provide help, and that part of my brain is just, it's not even that it's turned off, it's like, it's not available. I can go to this book and say, oh crap, what should I do now? Right? And so that's called Helping Children Learn. It looks like a third grade spelling workbook. It is very unimpressive when you look at it, but I can tell you the binding is broke on mine because I use it for so many things, including my own studying since I've come back to school.
I saw this term online. I don't know if it's real. It's nipple confusion. So, like for example, my niece, she can't breastfeed. Tongue and lip tie suspected. Actually, she has an appointment with Dr. Siegel, I think, next week. And I'm wondering if my older sister will be able to go back to breastfeeding after solely bottle feeding for, I mean, it's only been 2 months, but what if the child is 6 months or 8 months?
So it's not as, nipple confusion is a very controversial term, believe it or not. As you said, I don't know if it's true. But babies get used to eating a certain way. So when you think about the tongue tie as being not just about, you know, it's not just about the tongue tie, it's about what are those muscles able to do, right? So now the tongue is free, but the goal of what Dr. Siegel does is not just freeing the tongue. The goal of fixing a tongue tie is getting the tongue function back. Just releasing the tie is not going to get the function back. So if that baby doesn't know how to breastfeed, they're not going to learn how to breastfeed after 6 months. They have to learn. I recommend she be working with a lactation consultant before she goes to see Dr. Siegel, get some exercises going on, get prepared, be prepared with pain relief for that night, be prepared. Like Dr. Siegel gives out a lot of great information to his patients, but the day of the procedure, parents are tunnel vision. It's a scary thing. Even though the procedure is really not a big deal, your anxiety levels are through the roof and you don't absorb everything you need to do. So working ahead of time, like I had somebody this week, you're doing the exercises. No, I'm just doing those stretchy things. I'm like, oh, but I taught you exercises last week. What happened? You know. So it's really important because that tongue's got to learn how to move. Mm-hmm. Have I gotten babies back to breast? Yes, but with a lot of work. And it depends on what else is going on there. You know, is there cheek strength? Is there, what else is going on for that baby? But the important thing is that her milk supply is there.
Yes, yeah, she pumps, so.
That's important because you can't get back to breast if there's no milk.
Right.
So that's good. Okay. Thank you. Great question.